Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christopher and I'm a third year philosophy, politics and economics student, and I'm also an exchange student doing a year abroad at the University of Toronto in Canada. And I thought to do a educational Q&A tips, advice and guidance video for anyone who's interested in doing a year abroad or a semester. I got a bunch of my friends who are doing year abroads in the American continents, and to basically just give their experience. So yeah, it will be split into three parts. This first video is going to be on the application stage, so how it was actually preparing for the year abroad. The second part will be on their current experience, and the third will be like a reflection on their time. Thank you to my friends who agreed to be on the video. Appreciate you guys, and yeah, I hope this video is somewhat helpful to anyone. And if anyone also has any questions, I will not forget to put my Instagram in the description. I'm Chrissy, I'm 21 from the University of Manchester studying PPE, and I'm at the University of Toronto in Canada.
Hi, I'm Medina. I'm 20. I go to the University of Manchester and I'm now studying at Queen's University in Kingston in Canada. And I'm studying chemistry.
Hi, I'm Danielle. I'm 21 and I go to my original uni's in London, but I'm currently at McGill University in Montreal, Canada.
Hi guys, my name is Najma. I'm 20. I go to a uni in London and right now I'm studying in Toronto, Canada at U of T, and I study history.
Hi, I'm Tabitha. I'm 20. I study Spanish and linguistics at Oxford, and I'm currently in Santa Maria, Paraguay.
The first question I'm actually going to ask is, why did you decide to do
I always knew that I wanted to go abroad. So like it was something that I had ever since I was a child. So like I deliberately chose my uni based on the abroad prospects. So yeah. I like traveling though.
You do. I'll go next. I done it basically for the same reason. I knew that I chose Manchester because I wanted to go abroad. That's one of the main reasons I chose Manchester. And I thought it would be cool and extending the degree for 1 more year, so I would have to graduate this year. Najma?
My reasons are the same as you and Danielle. I chose my uni because they had a year abroad program with my degree. So I didn't want to be in the UK for a whole extra year, and I just didn't want to graduate. After COVID especially, I did not want to graduate. Wasn't ready for that.
Tabitha?
I guess mine's a bit different because I do a language degree, so the year abroad component is compulsory to graduate. Yeah. And yeah, I always wanted to study languages because I'd be able to travel and have the opportunity as well.
I did it for the same reason as you guys, because I chose Manchester because on the open day they said that they did the year abroad component for quite a few of the degrees, and I was like, yeah, I want to do that. And I'd always thought I'd wanted to go to Canada because America's a little bit scary to live there for a year. And I was like, you know what, if they're doing the choice to like have a year abroad component, I might as well.
The next question is why did you choose that the specific country or city that you're in? I chose Canada because same as one that USA, I said that was a bit too scary. So I thought Canada would be the next best option. I didn't want to like stay in Europe because that's too close to home. Australia was just a bit too crazy. So like it was just very crazy to think I could be in Australia. So I thought Canada made sense. And I think everyone knows like I've got quite a bit of family here as well. So my parents were like okay with it. And I chose, actually I did not choose Toronto first. I chose Montreal first because I wanted to be with Danielle. But Toronto was second. And I think I put Toronto second just because Drake talks a lot about Toronto. Apparently it's quite similar to London. And yeah.
My choice was, I can't remember, my top two were Singapore and Canada. I remember I put Canada as the safe choice because I was like, oh, because they say Toronto is so much like London, it wouldn't be such a big culture shock. And I was just like, if I get either or, I'll be happy. And I end up getting Toronto. And yeah, long day.
Paraguay. Why did you choose Paraguay?
Mine was a bit different, I guess. If I'm honest, a few years back, I was praying. This was in lockdown, and yeah, I was worshiping. I just had Paraguay, and I wrote it down. And then, yeah, 3 years later, I've been living in Paraguay for 6 months. Like, Jenny, I felt quite cool. And then I also met a Paraguayan at uni, very coincidentally, and everything kind of just fell into place with Paraguay. Like, but yeah, I didn't do any research about Paraguay. I didn't know about it. I knew that it existed. That was about it. But there was no like, yeah, particular knowledge of Paraguay that brought me there. But yeah, definitely just heard Paraguay.
I remember you put that. Tabitha has a YouTube channel, so you guys should check that out. But I remember you put that story time YouTube video. I was like, damn, that's crazy. Also, Danielle, how did you choose Canada?
So I was similar to like Najma. I had no intention of going to the West. I was gonna go East. So I actually was supposed to go I applied for Singapore and Hong Kong. But I turned those down to NUS turned me down. So that's one thing. Hong Kong I turned down because I heard Christopher was coming to Montreal, and then I have family in Montreal, and the tuition would have been like significantly cheaper because the option for Hong Kong, it would have been a full master's degree. So I was like, I don't really want to do my master's now. It made more sense financially and just in terms of the environment to just come to Montreal because I have such a big support system here, and especially it's my first time going away from home. So I was like, I felt like it was just better to be comfortable.
Yeah, so like I said before, like America, scary to spend a year in, and Australia, I saw too many like Instagram things about the bugs, and I just can't do it. Like growing up in the UK, especially, little to no bugs. If there's even a small spider somewhere, I've heard that there's spiders inside of dinner plates. So I was like, nah, that's not for me. Plus, like, I didn't want to go to somewhere in Europe because I didn't take like a language module, so it wouldn't have made sense for me to do that. And yeah, Canada just seemed like the best place.
Yeah. How was the application process for everyone? How did you find it?
For the application process, we just had to like rank our unis. And like most of mine were just the Canadian ones first and then the American ones because I wanted to go to Canada. And here was my top choice because looking at the map, I was like, oh, it's not far from Toronto and I want to be near Toronto. So I picked that. And we did an interview, which I think was okay because they just asked you like, why do you want to go here? What do you want to do? Like all of that. And yeah, the application process wasn't too bad for me.
I feel like it was only hard when I was trying to apply for internships at the same time. And then I was also just trying to get the degree so I could get the grade to go. I was like, yeah, that was, I shed tears, I can't lie. At some point I was like, this is getting really overwhelming.
Mine was pretty similar actually. So we just had to rank our unis, like a mini personal statement, kind of like, why do you want to go there? Why should we consider you? And then if you pass round 1, you go on to round 2 and you have an interview. Then that's when you get your offer. And that offer is still conditional on like getting the grade to go. I agree with Christopher. I went into my degree with the plan in mind that I'm going to graduate in 4 years because of the year study abroad. So for me it felt like life or death. If I didn't get the year abroad, okay, I have no plans for graduation. But it happened. But yeah, it's stressful, but the stress is going to be worth it at the end, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Najma?
No, I found my application process so stressful. We had to write a whole personal statement, give them transcripts. You had to give them we had to do something. It was like the transcripts of your first and second year modules and like descriptions. They made it very long. Like it was a long and very draining process. Like sometimes like, is it even worth going? But it was a part of my degree and I had been preparing for it. I'd been working since first year. If I didn't go on this year abroad, I would have just been depressed. We had to rank our unis. But I found the whole process really draining, really long. Like they were making it impossible to come, even though they want people to do a year abroad, which is kind of mad.
Tabitha, I'm assuming you didn't have to apply, but was there anything that you had to like do?
Well, because obviously, yeah, so it's language degree, so it's compulsory part of the degree, but we don't have to study. Like you can choose to study, work, or volunteer. So I think part of that process is having to decide, okay, what do I actually want to spend my year doing? Do I want to split it into different places? Some people do more than one language, so you have to like choose how you're going to allocate your time. I knew I just didn't want to study. I wanted to just be uni free for a year and just, yeah. I've been volunteering in a school out here, and I was doing some like, I don't know, church stuff in a different city. But yeah, I really wanted that freedom. So I guess, yeah, that's part of the decision making process is yeah, what do you actually want to do? How do you want to spend your time? And
How was like the preparation process in terms of like finding accommodation,
like,
visa?
so I've been in Paraguay since October. So when I came in October, I had booked a place to stay for 1 month. So I had an Airbnb for a month sorted. I was always just like, when I get there, I'll try and find somewhere more, stable to live, and I'll try and find something to do. Like that was basically the thing. And yeah, like generally just through just connections. Someone was like, oh yeah, this family member has a spare room and they actually wanted to, they want to meet you. Oh yeah, Tabitha, yeah, you can come and stay. So I ended up with somewhere to stay basically for a few months, just very spontaneously. I didn't need to have a visa to come because you can have 90 days, but I'll be real, I have to keep leaving the country and coming back. So it's like I'll go to Brazil and come back so I could get a fresh stamp. So 90 days every time. And it's been working so far. I went to Argentina the other day, but you just go across the border and get a fresh stamp. That's how I've been doing it. Sorry, because it's not. Yeah, I'm not officially with a school. I'm not like officially with like a job either because I'm not getting paid. So I'm on a tourist stamp in my passport, basically.
Okay. Danielle, how did you find the preparation process before actually getting to Canada?
That was stressful. That was so stressful. I don't know if it was because the way my uni did it, but like everything up to the point until like July, mind you, school starts in like August, September, but everything up to July, everything was conditional. So I couldn't like buy plane tickets till I got that. But like the only thing I had to do, because I just in case, was prepare my visa. And like you guys are in Ontario, I'm in Quebec, and Quebec is a lot more stricter. Like I think you guys just need to pay for a visa, right? So I got my visa. I had to get a CAQ, which is like an extra $150. So after that CAQ, only then I could apply for a visa. And like the financial, like I didn't realize, but I had to prove a different financial threshold, which is a bit higher in Quebec. And that was really stressful because I had to do everything by myself, as well as applying for school, doing school, and like having to talk it out with my family and my parents. And it's the first time I ever had to apply for anything this like important in my life. And so I was just scared of doing things wrong. I had to like keep calling my banks just in case. I had to deal with my cards, what credit card I was going to choose. The housing, I found my initial place of residence through Facebook Marketplace. Yeah. Housing, dorms in McGill, there's a lot of dorms. I just found it very expensive and just I didn't see, for me, I don't think it was worth it. And so I found like a private accommodation, which is a lot more affordable than the dorms, but I had some issues with the dorms. And so luckily me, I had my grandma and they have a room. And so now I currently live with my grandparents.
Medina, how did you find?
So I think mine was similar to Danielle's, but like it was extremely stressful trying to get my visa in place without having booked my tickets. So I remember one of the things that the international like coordinations office people would like, they were saying that you should have your visa before you book your flights, but the visa process took like 6 to 8 weeks. And I remember it getting to like it inching towards August and like my visa hadn't come yet. So I was like, can I just book my ticket? So I had to book that. And when I got to the border, I guess, when it came to the study permit and everything, they didn't like check as much as I thought. So I think I'd over prepared. So when I got there, I was like trying to hand them pieces of paper, and they're like, no, it's fine, just do this. And they printed out my study permit, and I was like, and for accommodation, I went on Facebook Marketplace too.
Natural. How was yours?
Oh, so me and Chris are flatmates, so I feel like we have the same experience. So same with Danielle. They didn't like our offer was conditional. They didn't give us like our replies whether we actually got in or not to UFC until like late June or early June. And then my university told us, don't like further sheet for anything. Don't start any process until you have your final offer. So everything was such a rush, such a stress. And then finding accommodation, because we got our like replies so late. Hey, this is why we live where we live now. Our accommodation right now, I'm not gonna name drop it because I don't want to. It's it's very expensive. I didn't look at Facebook Marketplace. I was like, I don't want to live with like, I know I'm living with strangers. I was like, at least I know they're students because I booked through a student association.
Mhm.
So, but it's extortionate. I don't love it. I think it's quite a bump. I think it's quite honest. I personally wouldn't recommend. I actually would not recommend. And then campus housing for us wasn't even an option. They don't have enough like student accommodation here. So if you're not first year, you don't get it basically. There's no guarantee. So we're kind of just stuck. This was like one of the cheapest things that was left, and it wasn't even that cheap.
Same as Danielle. This is the biggest responsibility I probably had in my life, where my parents or my siblings couldn't help me. So I was a mess. Like I was doing visas a bit too. I would be stressed. Like I'd be calling Danielle like, nah, man, I've messed up. I'm not gonna make it. Like it's so.
There was a time when Christopher, I thought Christopher applied for a visa before me because she started way before me, right? And then I was like, oh, did you do this? Did you do this? And she was like, what? I thought you only had to do this. She didn't press submit. So
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
So she. There was a point where I was like I remember just telling my mum, I was like, Mum, I didn't press submit. Like this could have been sorted out a month ago, but because I didn't press submit, I might not have ended up in, I said yes.
You know what? Something similar happened to me. I didn't know that like you were supposed to go in for your biometrics like within that month.
Same.
I was like, where's my like confirmation that I'm supposed to go in for it? And then like the like last 2 days, I think that you were allowed to do your biometrics, I looked at it and I was like, no. Oh no. And I had to quickly go to a place where you do your biometrics, but I didn't have like a printer at home, and like the library wasn't printing because it ran out of ink or something, so I couldn't get the documents. Then I went in and they're like, no, you need the documents, but you can go downstairs and print it off, but the printer weren't working there, so I had to go after like my internship, quickly print that off for an extortionate amount of money. And then go back in and do my biometrics. Yeah, no, it was stressful.
That happened. That's like Christy. I remember calling Christy.
Story. That's crazy. Like you just. So that makes me feel much better about myself. I cannot lie. Yeah. See. Anyway, read your emails properly. That's what I say.
Read all the documents. Read the fine script.